Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Engineer Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India on this day, September 21, 2021, Tuesday. Talk same as other day, yesterday. I am getting some signals today. Yesterday also I got good signals. I don't know how long it shall go. Talk about quality, safety, and issues related to COVID-19. Engineering, or you can say field engineering, civil field engineering, life, quality, AnnexSL, COVID-19, safety, health, environment, engineer's role, designs, construction, methods, contracts, organization, signals again zero, communication, coordination, why be behind quality of standard material, and this is as usual. Being serious about quality, again I say we have to value our certifications. We have to value our certifications, and if you don't value our certifications, we don't value ourselves. That point where we have to reach this standard, that is quality, HE, ergonomics, and we have to understand about materials, particularly in construction, and also many other aspects of life. We all lead life. We all lead life in a way that people should recognize us, people should value us. It's not that I'm talking of ourselves, engineers only, I'm talking for all. All people spend money in life to raise their standard. Status they call it. But is that enough? Who has defined status? I don't understand. What is meaning of status? Everybody has got certain facilities in life, certain temporary facilities, you can say mid-term facilities, permanent facilities, like somebody got house, somebody got car. I think generally car is very common. And you can say good education, good character, good medication, good hospitalization if you are sick. Likewise, standard of good marriage, married family, etc. Life is a complex entity for everybody, and it is irrespective of class of people. Class, I mean to say economical standards, economical class. I am not saying other classes. Other classes, there are so many classes. Now people think around world that economy is only class, and that is where thinking has become void. If we consider only economy as one factor, I don't think it's right. Economy is one of many factors. What I am saying is the standards. Standard means quality. If you are having quality system with you, I am not referring to system of ISO 9000, I am referring to everything. Whatever system does for us and whatever we do for system, both have to do for each other. If I have to improve my life, I have to improve my system. For example, say I am an individual. I have 24 hours in a day and I want to utilize them properly. But sleeping time is not within my control. So I can say, okay, that's requirement of my body. So it's also very important. Sleeping time, resting time, refreshing time is very important. But whatever other is balance, 15 hours, 16 hours, 17 hours, whatever number of hours we have, somebody has, you can say 10 hours a day working, somebody has 8 hours a day working, somebody says I am unemployed. Likewise, we have some fixed amount or some fixed duration, rather I should say, of time every day we have to use in our work. whatever work, whatever engagement we have, whatever employment or freelancing we have to use that properly. Properly in a sense that it is simply, you cannot say it is profitable to me or economical to me, but it should be useful to me. Maybe for learning, maybe for doing work, maybe to move ahead, maybe education, maybe whatever it is, You cannot bullet it. It should be something for advancement, for progressive. Life should be progressive. It's very important. If life is not progressive, one cannot be satisfied. If my life, say, goes back towards past and I don't get anything forward, I think it shall be very difficult for me to survive. That's why we say life has to move, but life has to move in a fashion that I should be happy mentally and physically. You should be happy mental and physically. Mental happiness is very different. And physical happiness, it's family, it's your personal private life, it's your body's activity. But when you say total happiness, it means happiness from every corner. And you have to define happiness, means when you get what you wanted, or you want to desire, you get it, or more than that, you get it. Maybe you are excited in that case, and that's called happiness at peak. I'm not saying what I'm saying is, what I'm stressing is, first of all, everybody has a right to enjoy life. Everyone. One has money or one has no money. Everybody wants to enjoy life in whatever profile you can say. One enjoys life while driving BMW, or you can say Ferrari, and one enjoys life by driving a cycle. Both are drivers, both mobile. One runs at the speed of 20 kilometers, one at the speed of 150 kilometers. Both do that. That is run, that's life. But is that enough? I think every activity is important in life. Every activity. It's not simply that what I say is right or what you say is right. These certificates tell something to everyone, and these certificates must be valued accordingly. It may be life is linked to work. Life is linked to work, and whatever work we do, you may be a king, you may be Amir, you may be Prime Minister, you may be President, or you may be a coolie, a lowest profile watchman, guard, or a helper. All are workers. You may give them whatever title, but everybody has got some duty, and that duty indicates what quality person one is. When I say quality person, it's very significant, because if I don't have quality as an individual, I cannot work with quality. If I have individuality that is quality based, I can say I can work with quality. I can respect quality, because if I respect myself, if you respect yourself, your work, your performance, your attitude, then certainly that you can say energy you have from these acts of honesty, sincerity, attitude must go to work contribution, and work shall be different. If you are annoyed, if your mind is not centered, certainly you cannot achieve in a quality way. Quality means freedom of doing something, but in right way, in enriched way. If I am involved in production of some product, whatever product it is, small or big, or a part of a machine, I should respect that. My work should be done by heart and by mind, combination of both. Not simply I think it's my burden every day I have to do this, I have to deliver so many items, I have to produce so many items, that's my target per day and per week, and I am bound by that. No, that is a burden. You fix your target, there is nothing wrong with that. But you cannot simply say it's my burden and I have to deliver it, otherwise I won't be paid. If that is only proportion, that you are interested only in payment, because once you deliver something, you get paid. Maybe you miss percentage of quality inclusion on that product. And that is where I say we fail. We fail because we only concentrate on quantity, that my target is this, I have to deliver this, I would deliver this come what may. This come what may should include quality. Even if I am sick, I will work. I say, okay, I was sick, I worked. That thought should not come to your mind. It is for sure, if you work honestly, if you work sincerely, if you work safely, if you eat good food, there is no way that you get monotonous or you get, annoyed with yourself. If you work sincerely, you shall be happy. I have seen many people who keep themselves in routine, who systemize, or you can say schedule out their work in a way, or their time in a way that they enjoy work. Work is never a burden. It cannot be. If those who think I am working, never think you are working. You say I am enjoying. It's like a game. People, or you say students, small kid babies, they enjoy many games in streets or in somewhere at some place in schools. They enjoy that time of game or free period when there is no burden of education, because for them education or classes are considered a burden, because they don't understand value of education. They don't understand that education itself is a game. It's a game of mind. It's a game of love. When you understand some subject, you enjoy it. And we don't understand, you try, because you have to qualify that, you have to pass that. You do whatever means, you do whatever way, you have to pass it. If target is only passing, means you cannot go on that subject, you cannot study that so thoroughly. That thorough study is very significant. When I talk to kids, they don't like studies. Many kids, majority of kids don't like studies. And now it's online. The schools are cut off in many parts of world. It's about around one and a half year. Students miss school, and they don't like this environment because at home they are bored. And that's true. They are students. They have no other liability except study. So what happens? Their quality standards fall. More than 40%, or you can say around half students now feel that online education is not giving them anything. Online classes are not good for them, because they are not getting that food of mind and body they used to get while studying face to face and among their colleagues or friends, I should say rather. They have not been getting that kind of inbuilt environment around time of study, because 50 times or 60% time they used to study, 40% time they used to for interaction, for games, for this, for that, for walking, for traveling, for cycling, or going by bus. Study was difficult for many students because it requires concentration, it requires thinking until they understand subject. Once they understand, then I think a student enjoys that. Otherwise, student crams that. If you talk to some student, primary student or middle class student, you ask them, do you know tables? Do you know calculations? They won't like to talk. Or if you want, ask them, do you know some short stories, or do you know some poems, or some other games? They interact with you very, in a very formal way. They can interact with you. And if you raise some mathematical questions, I think they feel annoyed. Majority of students feel annoyed. That's what I say. Where mind is required and mind is trained for that, and that person understands mind's value. That person understands what's value of calculation, what's value of thinking, which we have to inculcate, and teacher has to inculcate into their minds. This, if doesn't happen, if teacher is not able to inculcate in them value of mind, I think you cannot get, you may pass examination, student may pass examination, but examination pass is not one answer. What actually did you learn? That is important, and that learning should be by heart and by mind, not by just marks you get in examination. You cannot scale out what marks you get and what did you learn. Sometimes I have seen people, they say my son has got 95% marks, 90%. Okay, fine, that's good. But what does that boy or girl know? That is important. These people, these parents never test their kids. Students go to tuitions also. When you go to school for many hours, is there any requirement? Is there some requirement that you should go for tuition? That's a question. Since you are not getting result oriented education, and that is where quality drops. Means quality education is not available at initial point, and that is primary school, where real education starts in terms of mathematics, in terms of countings, in terms of table, in terms of very simple mensuration question, in terms of social education, in terms of science. Whatever they study, they do not understand anything. Just some questions are given to them with solutions, they remember them, they cram them, and they pass examination. It's not big deal there. Passing examination, I don't think it's a big deal. Examination passing is significant, but more significant is what did you learn. Even same attitude moves upwards, and these students become professionals or arts people or commerce people. Maybe later on in university they get some responsibility or they feel they are responsible. But if you test them once after they get education, I feel really disappointed, very disappointed. Because as in work I see there is no quality. In education also, there exists no meaning of quality. At least in manufacturers, somebody is there to look after quality, though that person doesn't know quality himself or self. But something is better than nothing in that case, you can say. But education is that product, education is that manufacturing which is very, very responsible, which is future oriented. An engineer can be a best engineer if education is best. An engineer can be a rubbish engineer if education is worst. Though you get certificate, you claim I am engineer, but you practically are not engineers. Okay, you say I did not work. How can I say that I am not practical? Okay, you work and learn. You are not interested in learning also. Some are interested, some are not interested. That's where I say field engineering is a field of learning. Field engineering is a field of learning. Design engineering is a field of learning. Life is itself a field of learning. Learning starts when person becomes aware that that person is in world and that person has to do something because that person is grown up. Once a person comes into that state of mind that I have to do something in life, then you can say life starts. Otherwise, up till that time, you enjoy life in games, in eating and sleeping, and you are called infant or what you say. But once you are adult, you have to think differently, and it is automatic because of interactions with parent, interactions with society or something, or you understand what is news, or you understand what is life. I mean, little you understand, you don't understand thoroughly. And yeah, you have to become something. And that is where your life starts. And life is very long as far as time is concerned, timing is concerned. You have to say live for 50 years directly without any stop for career and for life. Maybe 40 years, maybe 50 years, depending on your long life period, in which you have to remain safe, you have to remain healthy, you have to lead yourself. Some education, in some education, teachers lead you, professors lead you, but in life you have to lead yourself, your parent have to lead yourself, your society has to lead yourself. That is important factor. I just try to talk about that life because that life is the root of what I am talking of. If that life is not well organized, it's not well planned. Planned means systematic. It should be systematic. If a student is not given schedule, is not given time schedule, time schedule, you can say, that student cannot understand meaning of planning. If that student is not taught good dressing, that person cannot understand what is hygiene, how to clean, how to remain clean, how to keep your room safe, how to keep it tidy. That stage we can learn so much, which may not be theoretical but practical. Parents teach or students teach student. There are different classes of students. Students sometimes are seen in whole education that some students are not, frank enough to raise question. So they talk to their seniors or their friends who are more intelligent and they interact with each other. This happens. It doesn't matter, what way you learn. But you have to learn in a constructive way. My talk is not for learning, it's for quality. And that's very important point. And my question always remains, ask yourself what you are. You have to ask yourself, what is quality, what is safety. If you understand meaning, maybe at that stage you are not able to understand. But at one stage where you are grown up and you are starting your life, you know what is meaning of safety. You know what is pain. You should know that. And if you don't know what is pain, you can't explain to others what is that. Pain is not simply physical pain. I'm not saying that it's physical pain. It can be mental pain. It can be, you can say, just a shock, person in a shock. That stage should not exist. Some people, they are not failed in life. They do not fail themselves, but circumstances push them due to whatever reason, economical circumstances or family circumstances or whatever else. Some people are deprived of education, though they have enough mind to lead, but some reasons they are stopped from moving forward. And there are some people who are very rich, they have good money and their minds are blocked. It happens. So what I mean to say, quality is a question mark. Good quality. What is good quality? Good quality means, first of all, whatever quality I fix, that should be workable, that should be useful. It should give value to product. It should give value to product or to whatever item is manufactured or produced. And it should be safe for everybody. It may be consumable item, it may be living item, it may be some kind of other items that are useful in every sector of life, every part of life. It should have some standards, quality standards, safety standards, and its professional standards. Its design should be good. Its its construction or execution should be good. What procedure it is adopted, that should be professional. All that is a must. I cannot stop at a particular point because I have to explain miscellaneously. It says that quality has to be complied with, whatever way. Yes, that's right. Quality has to be complied with defined requirements within ambit of work specifications and quality ranges in elaborations. And this is not only during professional life, this is from beginning. This is since you are a kid. You remember, maybe many of you were interested in these drawings when you are infant, you were a kid, artwork, Some people are interested in drawings. Some students are interested in music. Some are interested in acting. It depends what is your choice. whatever your choice is, when you do that, you feel happy when it is beautiful, it's attractive. Suppose somebody draws some picture, some scenery, or some artwork some student does. And there that student, because that student's hobby, it's his hobby of that one, that student involves, or you can say applies all energies at that time into that work, small piece of paper or whatever it is, whatever drawing exists in mind of that student spends whole time with complete concentration on that hobby, job of that hobby. And that is what is quality and safety. That is where it is important. If you do same for everything, well, I think you get best work done, best quality achieved. It is an example only. Some students like music, and they immerse themselves. They immerse themselves in art, in you can say music, or in mathematics also. Some students are they enjoy mathematics. Some maybe 2-3% only, not more than that, because mathematics cannot be understood by everybody. Reason being, mathematics requires analytical mind, while music doesn't require analytical mind to that extent. It requires tone, synthesized tone. Analysis exists, but in different form. In artwork, when you draw painting or you draw some picture, analysis is not that important, but your views are important, your thoughts are important. Those thoughts, those imaginations are reflected to paper. What I mean to say is that quality starts from that point. Concentration is important, but that time one cannot realize that you are concentrating. Even your parent, they don't realize that is concentration. Say you work on that activity, for example, for 4 hours or 5 hours on a holiday or when you have time. That duration is very important for you. Maybe one doesn't notice, but concentration improves there. Same way, if some boy or girl practices music, maybe that time is not understood, but concentration, focus, you can say, focus on that contemplation of music, focus on that contemplation of painting continues, and that's where we can say it's beautiful music. This boy knows, this girl knows, it's beautiful art, this student does. So same I can say when somebody studies mathematics, science, and one understands concept of mathematics, concept of science. Once one understands that, I think that is point at which one starts thinking, at which one starts understanding, because those subjects, mathematics, physics, chemistry, etc., are logical based. Those are not arbitrary. You have to think, you have to analyze, you have to apply mind, you have to calculate. Only then you can solve that problem. And once if you enter that stage when you can say you are able to solve that problem, that is called concentration and happiness. Some happiness comes to your mind, and that is beautiful. And that stage forward, maybe you don't care for what is next class your teacher will teach you, and you start learning yourself. And that is where I can say your rise starts. And that is rise based on quality, because you concentrate on that, you think on that. It doesn't matter somebody guides you or doesn't guide you, but you guide yourself. That is where you can say, I can say quality has to be complied with, but it should be defined first. And you are defining yourself, your quality, that I enjoy here, I spend time, I concentrate, and I'm getting some good results. And that good results can teach you what is your requirement. When you feel happy, you will concentrate on that, you improve on that, you feel more happy. So that is within ambit of that what you prescribe for yourself, what way I have to go. If there is no definition, Then you create definition for that, you create requirement for that, you can create formula for that. Formula doesn't mean mathematical formula, your working formula, and that's known as specification. Maybe you do not use that word, but say, no, I need this and I need this, I require this, I'm happy if I get this answer. So that is your specification at that stage. And you can say then quality changes, quality starts improving and further goes on and on. And when you say, oh, I have known this much, then you can solve your own problems. This means you have conceptual quality, you have a thinking quality, you can think for quality and you can understand quality. That's what I mean to say. It's really interesting to know that, and people should do that. It's a reliability, you know, what is reliability? That's my point. I always talk of reliability and you listen to reliability, but do you understand what is reliability? I can talk to everybody, including those people who are young. Maybe they don't understand that. For them, whatever they do, it should be used and they should be employed. But they don't understand getting employment and employing others, both are different. I talk to many people, don't complain about what salary you are getting, don't complain about, but tell me what you are doing. Everybody says, these young, particularly millennials, they say, I am doing a lot of work for my company. I am doing too much work, but I am not getting paid. They give me more work, more work, more work, and they don't give me salary to that extent, though they got a good salary. But they don't understand how money comes, how work is done, because they are not clear. The focus of that person is job. I should get job, I should do job for few hours a day, and then I should get good money, my package. But package you expect, that package you expect, and that company pays you, employer pays you. But why are you irritant when work is given to you, or even access work is given to you? Well, I think if you are given access work more than your position, you are fortunate that you are given an opportunity. You should take it that way. Do not complain that I have got this much work and my payment is very little, other person is getting that much. Life is not meant for one organization or for two organizations. Life is yours. If you are dynamic, you are intelligent, you can do business, you start your own freelancing work. Who stops you? But once you start yourself, you realize what difficulties you get on path of that freelancing. It's not easy, and one who employs you, that person might have passed through that stage long back and been successful. That's the reason you are employed, or somebody else would employ you. But don't take everything easy, because it's not only your work. That person has many such workers in that company, and that person itself being employer is an employee. It's difficult. Quality, when I say quality, it means quality of working, quality of business, quality of manufacturing, quality of industry, quality of individual. And when I say quality of individual, it is each and every individual, including yourself and myself. Though I am not getting anything financially on this video or whatever video I make, this is my own interest. I am investing my time on this at this age when I am 67. I want to give back what I got from my experience. I think that if somebody can get something out of this, it is better, because I am not going to lose anything by interacting with you, by talking like this. I am not going to lose anything, only that I am losing my sleep, I am losing my rest, that's all. That doesn't matter. But if I give something to unknown, I mean those who are not related to me directly, they are related indirectly, like you people. If you get something all over the world, you may be located whatever location geographically, you get something, you may criticize me, that is also welcome. That at least you have audience, you listen to me, you heard me, you have every right to pass remarks, and I welcome that. That at least you are serious. But if you don't even think of, then I have no comments. But I am thinking for everybody. I am thinking because I say that my experience should be used to whatever extent. Not only engineering experience, other experiences also. Life experience, experience after knowing what is country, experience after knowing what are other countries, experience after knowing what is culture of people in various societies, what do they think, how they enjoy life, what do they understand by life, what do they understand by quality, and what do we understand by quality by life. Life cannot be limited to family, remember. Remember one point, that's a very important point, quality important point. Your life cannot be encompassed or encircled by your nuclear family or joint family. Life of everybody is for earth. Remember. Don't forget this. I'm just trying to recall when you left heavens, or you can say God's home, every one of you, enjoying this earth journey. At that time, you did not belong to earth. You came to earth. You came from somewhere. We do not know. It's not a spiritual talk. It's reality. And we have to go back also. That's another reality. Coming to earth is one reality, and going back from earth is another reality. And this gap between coming and going points is called life journey. Life is not property. Life is not property of everybody. We are just using this planet's flight, that's body, our body. This is a flight, a kind of craft we use. We have to respect that. That's what I say. We have to live. This means we do not belong to earth. We belong only for our living years. Then why should I worry about that why I am giving something to someone? I am not giving anything to anyone. I am just sharing my experience, and that is where if I share with you, maybe if you are serious, you can get some benefit. This is facility of internet, this is facility of Facebook, or likewise YouTube or other forums. We can use our minds to be transmitted to others. Now it's up to others what value they give. I don't think more than 0.5% people of our audience among all members, because seriousness people don't like, and my talks always come out of class of seriousness, because enjoying is very easy, enjoying life is very easy, entertainment is very easy, and comforts are very easy. What is difficult is struggle. What is difficult is facing problems. And it's not because you are poor you face problems. Even those who are rich, they face problems. All people have problems this way or that way. And that is where you can say teaching comes into picture. If you face a problem, means you are a fortunate person, because problem shall not stay with you forever. Just like solutions won't stay with you forever. Happiness won't stay with you ever. Same way comforts won't stay with you ever. Affluence also shall not stay with you forever. And struggle too shall not stay with you forever. This point we have to keep in mind. So that's where I say reliability is important. You will ask me why I am connecting to reliability. Yes, that can be a good question. Why I am connecting to reliability? Reliability, if you study, is at article meaning, means what is content, how this term reliability has come into use, and that is first of all re, then liable, right? Re, and liable, and that property, reliable property. What is re? Re means again, or again, or again. And what is liable? Liable means accountable. It may be responsibility accountability. It can be, you can say, finance accountability. It can be quality accountability. It can be safety accountability. It can be economical accountability. It can be material accountability. It can be human resources accountability. It can be whatever accountability where you are successful to answer. To which you can answer successful if there's a question. Why did you do that? You have an answer. What did you do? There's an answer. How did you do? There's an answer. Why did you not find any other alternative for this, option for this? There should be an answer. There should be an answer to justify your acts. My acts I have to justify. Because when I am serious means I am worker. When I am not serious means at that time I am not worker, I am just enjoyer. Enjoyer and worker both are same person, but only attitude. It doesn't mean you are having lines on your faces. You are having wrinkles on your faces. No. That is not seriousness. Again, zero signals in video as well as audio. Well, title again is field engineering, and whole life is field because I say life. Field engineering, whole life is field, and field is life. And quality, you have to define yourself for your acts. And when you are employed, somebody shall define what you have to do. And if you are that somebody who has to define what is quality, then you are responsible. In that case, you can say you may be one of those reliables. And it says safety from all involved factors. What I understand is that reliability says, it tells safety from all involved factors, successful serviceability of intended purpose, mandated durability of its working life, all other necessary resources involved, applicable knowledge areas, factors involved, which resources must be understood and achieved in all procedures, or else one should learn before taking responsibility, and all foregoing issues must be considered along with all possible risks. It clearly says first factor is safety for you on your work, and safety of work. Second factor is successful serviceability of intended purpose. Your work, whatever you do, it has some service requirement. It's for some service. Whatever that service, it should support, it should do. And then there is something which has some life, even a small item. It can work for years. Very big items, it can work for decades, for centuries. Now it depends upon what is manufactured and what life time you consider for that. Every machine, every equipment, every product, article has some duration, and if it is maintained properly, that duration reaches. So duration is one point, and you can say in terms that it should be durable in performance throughout that period. Of course, inclusion of maintenance and improvement of quality of performance. or retrofitting of that if it can be done, and all other resources that are required for that item, those must be understood while we are working. What these resources are, how can we best use them, and how can we achieve our goals, what procedures can be charted out, and what we can learn from our experience. And before taking responsibility, what we have to learn. We have to start some item. We cannot blindly start. We have to understand that item, what item is, what is its requirement, what supports it needs, means material support, resources support, other support. Do we have enough method, enough technology to do that? And if we have all this, or whatever else is required for this, we can say our attitude, our working, my working, your working is reliable because we do again and again, and we, after doing that, we also learn again and again. How we could not get this specification, maybe in some cases we have to reject some product, but we have to define best way of some product can be manufactured. And this is the important point of reliability. If human is reliable, human can move and human can make others reliable if human leads them. Leads means not first lead, you have to lead yourself. I have to lead myself. Education means that. Education doesn't mean that you have book knowledge. Education means that you have to move yourself. A word we use, proactive. One has to be proactive. In engineering, proactive is very important. Person who is proactive, who has capacity to proact all time, that person, if also has mind, can do a lot. Not necessarily that person talks a lot or writes a lot. It's up to that person how to communicate with others, how to coordinate with others. That is where system lies in, and communication as well as coordination are very significant part of working. In whatever field you work, you have to remain safe, you have to remain others safe. Why I say remain means you have to be safe, and you have to understand your role. You have to design how to do that. Here I say engineer's role. In that capacity, you are also engineer, that you are doing something useful. Maybe you are not educated, but you are educated by training or by some other method. You can say you have seen that, you experienced that for long years, for decades, and you do that work. Then you have to see how we have to construct it, what method can be used, or I have to take services of someone on contract, or how I have to organize myself. Where I say all these points are indicative, systems are indicative, your acts are indicative. It's you, if you do alone, you are judge of your own. You have to decide. Maybe first decision can be wrong, second decision can be partly wrong, and at one time, at one end you reach, you will find some decision which is positive, which is supportive, and that decision becomes your specification part. It means I have taken this decision on this proposal, so this proposal in fact becomes a kind of specification, and your own specification, that I can use this specification and I can get good results. That's what we say. It moves on. So we have specifications. We define our own specifications and we move on that. And then we have to improve that. That's also a requirement. Because when we produce something, we manufacture something, it shall speak to us, it's whether it is sound or it's not sound, it's qualitative or it's not qualitative, it's useful or it's not useful, it's acceptable or not acceptable, or it is rejected, or it is, you can say, condemnable. That result shall teach us where did we fail, and then we have to improve that. It happens. It happens. Everywhere it happens. For example, in COVID-19 you are seeing. COVID-19, it's more than a year now. People have been busy in understanding this, in researching on how to treat this. They are not able to, but some vaccinations, results of success you can say, is a result of innovation or result of experiments. There was no theory for that, but I don't know, I am not expert of that, but something is being done, I can say. It is being done. To what percentage it is useful, that people would say, time would tell us. It cannot be said now because it's health issue, and you cannot expect health issue to be resolved in a couple of months. It's medical, it's your body. It may take long time because there is no conclusive statement till now. There is no conclusive decision till now that we can say with claims that we have controlled something, and it's still beyond control. Yes, precautionary measures are being done, not treating curative measures. Qualitative measures, whether these are or not, at this stage we cannot say, because quality we are not finding in medical world for COVID-19. So I should say I try to cover these topics, and quality is very important part for everybody. Safety is very important part for everybody, and we have to understand that. And then point comes in for analysis. Analysis which is right of everybody. Even a student can do this analysis. If you put an element in a student to conduct analysis, I think nothing better than that. At that stage, when you are student, at student time, if analysis is conducted and then work is done or study is conducted, that is real study. And this cannot be examined, analysis cannot be examined in 1 minute. Even in examination papers you can't answer this. But analysis is reality of life. When you buy something, you consider many factors. When you do something, you consider many factors. Same way, if a student can do it, I think that is the best way. You have to analyze. If a student has capability of analysis, no one can stop that student from rising, from furthering, irrespective of what marks student gets. I can't measure performance, I can't measure estimation, I can't measure value of a student just by considering how many percent marks one got. Because mark is just an indicative, measurement. It's not exactly knowledge measurement. Students cram tables, cram everything, cram formulas, and they get good marks. Cramming is not examination. My examination is reality. If you pass by cramming or by memory, you can say that is memory examination, that is cramming examination, and cramming doesn't work. It doesn't work. What is work? What is useful in life? That is understanding, clear conception. In engineering, clear conception is very important. In medical science, clear conception is very important, because both are responsible professionals, both are society developing professionals. Medical world develops society from health viewpoint. Engineering world develops society from development viewpoint, and likewise other depends on these two for other reasons, for other focuses. Analysis, a kind of weapon you can say. Weapon, I mean not killing weapon. It's a tool, it's an instrument we can use for finding solutions. And it depends on what point you consider by commencing calculations based analysis. Those points add to knowledge. Those points are very significant. We have to understand that reality as well. Analysis is a kind of, you can say, you maybe have many problems for something. You have to list out those problems first. And once you list out those problems, one by one you can study all problems and find solution, even by interacting them, or by documenting them, or by thinking on them, and you find solution of one by one not necessary in sequence. It depends. And that analysis, say there are 5 points in some work, and you study all these 5 points and you try to solve them. It's not necessary immediately you solve all them. You can try from simplest one or whatever you know. Then one after other, all questions will be answered. And once questions are answered, you can say problem is gone, because then you have to implement those answers. And that's what we can say. It is called then combinations of those answers can be called synthesis. Synthesis and analysis are same family. Only difference is one creates problems, other one is one uses that result, and then person who analyzes is mind behind that, you can say mind behind that. Analysis is important everywhere. What these days happens that people just want to claim something, that this is my credit, and I don't understand why do you wait for credit? Why do you seek credit? Credit is not necessary. When you do something, you shall certainly enjoy that. What do you think if you get credit? What shall happen with that? That's the reality. Because you are not doing for you. You are doing for all. Your work, which is for personal life, which is for private life, I am not talking of that. That also requires quality. But when you do for some, for all, and it goes to all, this means you think for people. And that is where, it is generality. And people know that it's your credit. They do credit themselves, don't worry about that. But don't work for credit. Work for doing, work for solution. When you do something, people automatically knows. When sun rises, everybody knows. When it is rain, everybody knows. When it is thunderstorm, everybody knows. Only point is that you have to think, and thinking is my food, thinking is my water, thinking is my mind, thinking is my capacity, thinking is my tolerance, thinking is my patience, and thinking reduces your anger. Thinking cannot be done when you are angry. If I am angry, it's difficult for me at that time to think, because I burst my cells which were used in thinking. For that moment, maybe instant anger you get. Solution of that anger is think. Start thinking. And that thinking, food shall remove your hunger status. It shall give you patience. It shall give you, a kind of recession from that heated mind. And then after thinking, you can concentrate. And concentrate on one. You can concentrate on, focus on problems. And your mind comes to standstill position then. And anger is gone. But it's not so easy. It's very difficult. It can be difficult in its beginning when you start performing or practicing. But it goes on augmenting itself, and the stage comes that if you are habitual of being angry, you shall gradually reduce your anguish, and that is where you can say you change your system of body, you change your contemplation, and one, second time, third time, fourth time, if you do this, you can say come back to normalcy of life without getting anguish all time. And that goes on and on and on. It increases in its magnitude and power, and it can be called starting of concentration. Concentration, center. You have to center. You have to collectively center. You have to, merge every problem into one point. Convection current, you may call it. Just like we say, we reflect life through concave mirror or concave lens, and you find what answer is. Image you can see when you conduct experiments in physics laboratory, and subject was light. Same way, life is a light, but it's up to you. We use concave mirror, concave lens or convex lens. It's up to us. Or we use different one. So our life is a lens for myself, not eye lens, mind lens. Eye lens is one which is a transmission power which can transmit to you, but mind lens is one which understands it. That lens must be sound, must be efficient, must be everywhere. I don't want to take all time on this, but I would say I should go to yesterday we were talking of concrete. You remember? We were talking of concrete and this was some specification from some other country. And in this I just read for you so that you can understand something. It's better if you can understand because otherwise we can't move forward. It's very difficult for everybody to go through papers. Nowadays, it's a problem itself in paperwork. People don't want to study more and more. They just want to voice, they want to scenes. And here is introduction of this. This is section 5 of Qatar concrete specifications. I mean concrete specifications, not specifications of chapter 5 it is. And that is related to concrete. It's very specific one for us, for engineers. And not only for engineers. This is also significant for every household, every contractor, every citizen. Because concrete is our life. It's the only material left where everybody is interested in. In every home, in every construction, in roads, or you can say infrastructure, you can find concrete directly or indirectly elsewhere. And concrete, what is concrete? You understand? Here if you see, aggregates are written in part 2. Part 3 says cement is material, like part 4 says water, and so many other requirements. This is what is a part of our life. Just like we used to say in past, brick is our part of life, stone is our part of life, because without bricks or without stone, we could not even think that we can have a roof or shelter or small room to live. We have to live either in some cloth tent or then without tent, even in open to sky house. Though open to sky house is very big, there is no division in that. Everybody has that, even if you don't have roof. Its ingredients are natural. Ingredients of concrete. What is ingredient? That you can raise this point. If you are not an engineer, you can raise this point. What's ingredients? And the answer is very, very clear. And again it's 0. Answer is very, very easy and very, very clear. Whatever material you use for producing something, 1 material, 2 material, 3 materials, 4 materials, whatever you use, in some quantity, in some ratio, that you can call its ingredients to that. So concrete has also ingredients. And what are those? What are those? We can say concrete has ingredients where we can say, let us see small definition of scope in this. This section includes requirements for concrete work, for pipelines, for road works, for runways, for structures, for water retaining structures, foundations and bases for structures and equipment. And say a lot is covered in that. What is that? Concrete is used, you can say, this statement tells, there is a requirement of concrete. Concrete means, concrete will explain to you. You have stone chips, small pieces, we call them coarse aggregate. coarse aggregate we call them aggregate, and also we call sand, or you can say stone dust, that is called another aggregate, and that is called fine aggregate. And fine aggregate and coarse aggregate both have some properties, some requirements of, you can say, size, nominal size. That requirement is, if up to this much, it is fine aggregate, and from this to that much size, it is coarse aggregate. Those are aggregates, which stone aggregates we call them, which comes from rocks, and we call them dust aggregates, or sand aggregates, which may come from riverbed, or we can say stone dust can come from crushers. Then we can say there is cement. We call it cement, though cement is name only, but it is cementing material. Purpose of that cement is to combine these two aggregates by use of water. Water mixes with cement, because cement is also chemical. Cement is also chemical, and this chemical is natural one. You can say limestone is one part there, and also silica, or you can say silt is another part of that. Combination of those two, we can say it is, after due process, we can say this is cement, and name itself is that it combines into permanence, and that is aggregate, as I said, stone aggregate and fine aggregate. And there can be some other materials used which are supportive in achieving some properties in concrete, and those are admixtures, and there are further and further requirements which we are going to discuss. And the scope says, again I say, that this section includes requirements of concrete or for concrete work. Whatever we do for, say example is pipeline. You want to construct or you want to lay water pipeline, sewer pipeline. Sewer pipeline, water pipeline are very, very common for civil facilities. Also, there are other pipelines in plants facilities, petrochemical facilities, chemical plant facilities. Those are called utilities for that particular plant. So there is also a requirement of concrete. Then road work is massive, you can say, in all over world. Roads are roads, these are required for traffic, for transportation, and this can be, done by concrete or by bitumen, or you can say macadam roads, or many other types of roads you can say nowadays. So for purpose here we are talking concrete, so concrete roads. Then runways, airport, you go see that, for that it is used. Then structures means whatever sort of structure, building a structure, or it can be flyovers, it can be, you can say towers, or you can say whatever else where structure is to be created, to be done, to be produced, to be developed, whatever term you can use, constructed, I should say, construction of structures. Then water retaining structures, where water is retained in reservoir form or in tank form or in whatever form for purpose of use, and that retaining structure, water retaining structure, generally concrete is used for that. When I say concrete, automatically reinforcement comes into picture, no need telling that separately. You understand what I am talking of, RCC rather than concrete only. Then foundations of all structures, buildings, or as I said, many other structures where foundations would be required. And you can say basis of structures and equipment. So concrete, you can say, covers entirely whole life, whole requirements. Concrete is that material. Material means it is artificial material, and sometimes we can call it artificial stone, because concrete is such a material which can respond to compression as well as to tension, whereas our stones can take compression, but stones fail in tension generally. To some extent they take, not to that extent, but combination of concrete and steel are fully empowered to respond to compression as tension. Same way, brick cannot take tension, cannot respond to tension, it can respond to compression. What I mean to say is that brick is also manufactured, stone is not manufactured, stone is cut out of rocks and then it's lined up, it's made up. Still, after being made up, it's natural product. It may be sedimentary rock product, it can be igneous rock product, or it can be metamorphic rock product. It is product, and that is rock. You can say it may be sedimentary rock, it may be lime rock, it can be metamorphic rock, it can be igneous rock. Stone comes from there. So stone is not manufactured but crushed. We crush rocks and we reach to particle size by that crushing, and that is called aggregate, stone aggregate, and then it's further crushed to powder form, and that can be called dust of, or you can say stone dust. Brick is manufactured by certain process. It uses clay as basic soil, and then it is molded in particular chemical fashion, and after that it is molded and kiln dried. Kiln is process. You can say furnace type or big furnace it is. You can bake your wet molded bricks, and we can then say brick is produced for purpose of including permanently on works. So what I say, it says in to here, this part includes relevant standards. This part means this chapter includes relevant standards, definitions, abbreviations, and requirements for testing, facilities, rejected materials, and record keeping. Now, why I am referring to you this chapter? There are so many chapters in that specification that is called Qatar Civil Specification. It is only for information purpose, or you can say dissemination information purpose, not for something specific, because concrete is very very important material. And why? Because quality is an issue here. If I open this file, I think I can tell you something that is about Qatar quality. Just a minute please, direct series printer. Let me go to my own work and see what I try to tell you and what should be. That is, I open this file just to show you what I'm talking of, why I'm talking of. That's also important. And management documents, here is Suraj AnnexSL. Now, because I'm going to talk of quality requirement, what is quality requirement and why it is, and what is AnnexSL. Before going further, let us have a look at AnnexSL. I did in past, but no problem. We'll look at this now and see how this work, how this operate. Here you can see a file here, and that is, I produced this file myself, and of course I took references from different websites, and this is AnnexSL ISO 9001 2015 QMS. Quality managing systems or management systems or organization systems. Here I am talking of updated one, that is IS 9001 2015 upgrades to 2008. It has already been in force now since 2015. It's already more than 5 years lapsed that time has passed away. Now what does it say? That point is important. Well, I think, can I blow up this Many times I give this title, and maybe you people say he just gives titles and it doesn't tell what it is. So I am going to speak something momentarily for you can say quality system. Again, signals a problem. Alright, quality system. It says an organization adopts a management system to take care of comfortably achieving its set objectives. Got clear? An organization adopts a management system to take care of comfortably achieving its set objectives. Management system or organization system comprises various sets of procedures for charting out and implementing various operations or activities so as to successfully reach its intended objectives, which state leads to enhanced use of resources, improvement or risk management, improvement on risk management or risk provisions, risk organization, and increased customer satisfaction by meeting product or services expectations. Little complicated compound sentence it is because people do not use compound sentences these days, but I used it. I'll try to explain. It says it's a system to organize, management system. It's organization system, you can say. Management system comprises various sets of procedures for charting out. I mean to say, to find solution, we have to find something. We have to chart out something. And that is where you can say procedures are to be defined. We have to talk of some management. We have to devise management. We have to chart out some policy or statement of procedures. What we have to do. That is, management system comprises various sets of procedures for charting out and implementing various operations or activities. There can be operation or you can call it activities. You have to implement them. How to implement them? So as to successfully reach its intended objectives. What was your objective? That you know. Everybody knows what's my objective in this case. What I want to achieve. Can it achieve by this organizational procedure? That organization which I am going to create, to establish. Can this lead to achieve this objective? That is our analytical question. And which leads to enhanced use of resources. Enhanced use of resources. I have already resources. Human resource, material resource, knowledge resource, formula resource, and energy resource. Energy means workers. Are they energetic or they are sleeping rot? So we have to take into our consideration all these factors, all these resources, and that can say improvement on risk management. Risk management we have to understand. It's not simple management. Management that we have to do, we have to conduct when we encounter some risk. Risk which we do not know or we can know, it depends. I'm not saying hazards, I'm saying risk. Every act, every work, every activity which we foresee or we can foresee that if I do this, I can face this problem. Or you can say for example, I want to decide which route I have to follow to go to that destination. Then I can foresee if I go to this route, I can find this problem and I have to find solution for that. Or if I go to this route, I can find this. Maybe I have to travel more on this route and less on that other one. But when I have to travel less, there can be more traffic on that one. So that kind of knowledge is important. Risk. What level of risk I can get this? Can I solve that? If I can solve it in advance, it is best. If I solve at that point when I see this is better, okay, you can solve it. But if you cannot solve it, that is worst. So what I say, improvement on risk organization, and that is called risk management, and increase customer satisfaction. If customer satisfaction is important, it's a very big term, and these days this term is abused. Everybody claims that customer satisfaction they provide, and fact remains no one provides customer satisfaction because customer is taken for granted. All do that. National company, international company, government sector, private sector, everywhere there is no practical customer satisfaction, in reality only on papers. You can see whatever international company which has global reputation, but its products do not give that satisfaction. And if product doesn't give satisfaction, means customer is not satisfied. But customer is helpless to do something because of so many reasons. Nowadays online system is efficient. Online delivery, online request, online payment. But you see, once you get online delivery, they may not charge you for delivery, and you can feel happy that I'm not paying that one. But if you get non-performing commodity, non-performing article, non-performing product which you do not like, then you have to face problem. If it doesn't work at all, then you cannot return it immediately. Nobody will come to collect from you. Courier comes and you collect it for delivery. But if you call same vendor, take it back, I don't like it, nobody shall come to you. And they will give this excuse, go to that service center, go to this service center, do this and do that. And you become, their doll. You become doll of that manufacturer or its agency. You have paid money, you have got delivery, but that delivery doesn't work. What solution do you have? If you have to go to service center, if you have to go to collect it from somewhere, or say that this is not working, change it, you have to produce receipt, you have to produce documents, then they will consider as they are king of that. Rather, they should come to you and replace it immediately, but this doesn't happen. So where is customer satisfaction? I don't understand. This is a fake term. Nowadays, quality is very poor. Customer can never be satisfied, even if it is delivered properly. I am not interested in the free delivery. I am interested in quality. Because I am paying you, if I can pay you X amount, I can pay you X plus delivery amount. Don't keep me on, you can say, greed of free delivery. I don't want that. You discount price also. I am just trying to explain how our management system working everywhere. Forget ISO 9000, I am explaining that. But ISO 9000 is not responsible for this. It is organization that's responsible for this. You are claiming you satisfy customer, but you don't satisfy customer. You satisfy your business. You satisfy your organization. We have set this target of sales and we got it. We achieved it. Where is the product? Where is quality? Where is services expectations? That's why it says management system comprises various sets of procedures for charting out and implementing various operations or activities so as to successfully reach its intended objectives, which leads to enhanced use of resources, improvement on risk management, and increased customer satisfaction by meeting product or service expectations, but it doesn't happen. So why should I worry about online purchase? Why not to go to shop and buy it? Why to have greed for saving postal charges? Okay, I can go and buy from shop and at least test there whether or not this product works. And if it doesn't work, why should I buy it? Courier buy will not let me test it. Just you receive it and that's it. I'm not responsible for anything. And if you return, okay, you return. But how do you return when you don't know it performs or doesn't perform? How can you say? It is not responsibility of courier. It is responsibility of that company, that organization that delivered you this. And if it is to be paid at time of delivery, you have to pay. They don't deliver without payment. Means both ways you are bound. Why not to go to shop and buy it then? At least you test it there. And if you have to send it back, give it back, you go to shop and give it back and let them fight with him. I am having very bad experience. Really, I don't like now. I'm not interested now to buy online because quality question comes into my mind. It's a fake management system, believe me. It's truly rubbish system that has been happening. I'm not blaming ISO. I'm not blaming Sigma. I'm not blaming anybody. I am blaming a spirit of manufacturers, a spirit of builders, a spirit of promoters, a spirit of all those who should care about you, about product, but they don't care. It may be steel, it may be whatever you buy, electronics goods, electrical goods, you won't find any degree of quality in that. Many items I bought and still people buy, they suffer. But problem is whom to say, whom to fight with. You cannot fight online. You keep on sending mails, they don't worry. They keep on answering you. They are good in SMSs, of course. You will get many SMS once you place an order. But my requirement is not SMS. My requirement is service by that product. That is my focus. That's what I pay, but I don't get it. So I don't accept this management, this organization, where I start suffering from beginning itself. You know, when you buy some electric bulb, you go to electrical shop, you buy some tube, you test. Electrical shopkeeper itself will test it and give to you. But why not online? Why? I am not satisfied because they just want to give me packet, enjoy this packet and go. If there is a problem, you go to our service center and fight with them. No, this is not service. This is not quality. It is your duty. If I complain that this product is not working, it doesn't work, you should send someone either to tell me that I am wrong, you install properly and prove that it's working so that I am satisfied, or send someone to take it back and replace immediately. That is called quality. You have framed rules yourself for your own satisfaction, not for customer satisfaction. So I condemn this statement that you work for customer satisfaction. You don't work for customer satisfaction. You work only for getting money. It may be discounted. Discount. If I am giving you this concession, which you can say it is discount, what is reason? What is real reason that you give a discount? Either this material is not acceptable, this material is not worth, again signals down, this material is not worth, or you can say this material is not durable, or is not salesable, you can't sell it, people don't accept this, or there is something wrong somewhere. That's why, and you find all, if you search, all items claim, all manufacturers, all agents say, we give this discount. Do not be fool people. You cannot give discount. No one can discount if it's real price. You enhance price yourself and you don't give any expenses that how did you reach this price. You don't submit any analysis online. You tell clearly, this is my expenditure on this product. I did not find any such statement on any product. Yes, they specify, they give specifications, technical specifications, they give installation, everything that is required post sale they will give. This is my specification. They never say how many complaints have been received, what is worth of this material. They never say that. This is best one. Everything is best one in market. I don't know which is better one. Everything is best. Everything is super. Nobody says my product is normal. No manufacturer says that my product is normal. Everything is super. And when everything is super, I can say nothing is super. Everything is fraud. Everything is fake. Reality is absent. How can everything be super? How can you compare everything and everybody claims mine is best? No. You are a liar. Simply saying. You are a cheat. It's cheating. You are cheating public openly. And public is happy to be cheated unnecessarily. Everybody is pleased to be cheated in 2021. Everybody is pleased to be cheated. That is what life has worked in. Life has changed from reality to cheating. I don't want that online, and I don't want that computer system which cheats me. No. I want quality. And that's why I say organizations do work on various management systems. Say quality management, quality organization, environment management, environment organization, safety management, safety organization, etc., etc. These systems, these various systems in line to ISO 9001, 2008 and now 2015. In past, when it was 2008, which is obsolete now, used to work on varying management structures. Management structures, organization structures, causing inconvenience to interface with each other. Means these systems which were quality management or total quality management, TQM it was called, and also environment management it was called, and safety management was the fourth in something. These were separate in 2008 manual. ISO 9001, that is International Standard Organization, 9001-2008. These were dealt separately, individually, on their own structures. These are not uniformly used. Now, what happened? AnnexSL managements, which is 2015 now, ISO 9001 2015. These arrangements provide many commonalities. Again, signal 0. Many commonalities in designing system, implementation, monitoring, evaluation and improvement, by trying to eliminate conflicts that existed within ISO 9001-2008 system, because there were some non-uniformity on formats of these three, as I said, to total quality management, environment management, or you can say safety system. All these were having different uniformities. There were some clashes on each other. So 9001 2015 has unified on one form, and that is AnnexSL, high structural language, you can say. High structural organizational language it is, and it's called all management systems shall have single high level identical core text. All management systems shall have single high level identical core text with common terms and definitions. High level structure cannot be changed. Structure cannot be changed. But discipline specific subclauses can be both added or changed. It's a kind of design format if you want to be certified by registered agencies of ISO 9001. You cannot change structure of this form, but contents can be changed. I mean to say, whatever you are prescribing, say in one part, that title should be same, its requirement should be same, but further details can be different. So we can say AnnexSL applies to all systems, all organization systems, all system standards publicly available specifications and technical specifications. AnnexSL applies to all organizational management system standards, publicly available specifications and technical specifications. Now revised ISO 9001, 14001 and 45. Problem, this is very specific one for this title. Signals are causing problem. Well, AnnexSL structure is indicated below. Let's go to that one by one and study, because this is also very important one. Let me just reduce its spacing so the more can be covered. Let us see, I'll do it later on. Let's now see what it is form. Now this is AnnexSL structure is indicated on this form. There are many clauses in that. These are two clauses which you can see now. There are more. I'll show you first those clauses better so you can clear what I'm going to talk about. This clause 1, clause 2 here. Then clause 1 is scope, clause 2 is normative references, clause 3 is terms and definitions, clause 4 is context of organization, clause 5 is leadership, and clause 6 is planning. Then clause 7 is support, and you can say clause 8 is operation, clause 9 is performance evaluation, and clause 10 is improvement. These are titles, so we go back to clause 1 so that we can understand clearly what we are talking of. This is, we can think of this now. Clause 1, that is scope. It's very important that scope is always at initial stages defined in every contract or on every project. Scope is defined. What is a scope? And it should include what? It includes, now description here, if you see title of is, first is clause number, then format title, and then it is description and intended actions. Description and intended actions related to PDCA, and this is short form, this is abbreviated form for plan, do, check, act. Plan, do, check, act. You plan something, you do something, you check what you have done, and then if there is some changing required, you act on that. So what is clause 1? Scope. You have to define a scope, or honor has to define a scope. Who has to define a scope? I'm not talking about that. But here is form. Form is a scope. In this form, you have to define, and that is it says includes, it includes intention. What is your intention? Intended out. Whatever you can say, what do you want to achieve? That is intended outcome of management system. You have to know, you have to define in the scope, and that cannot be changed drastically. Intended outcome of system, proposed system, and which are industry specific, and should be aligned with clause 4, context of organization. I have already shown you all 10 clauses, and clause 4 is context of organization. Hence you have to link clause 1 is scope to clause 4. So its definition is intended outcome of management system, organization system, which are industry specific and should be aligned with clause 4, context of organization. Then clause 2 is normative references, norm, rather you should say references related to norms. What norms? And it includes details of reference, standards or publications relevant of this. First is a scope, means you have to define a scope. What do you want to achieve on this project? And that should be industry specific, and it should be aligned to context of organization in clause 4. That is simple, very simple, but scope is also always descriptive. It's not only this line I have written or written by organization or AnnexSL system. It is very much elaborate, and it cannot, you have to explain your scope, because scope is very specific, it is very important. If you don't explain it, then there shall be many problems. At least for your organization, you have to define so that every stakeholder can understand, or your organization can be understood well, what is scope for your organization or for project. Then normative references means which standards you are going to follow. National standards, international standards, or institutional standards, or codes, whatever you are going to follow, that should be explained. That is clause 3. Clause 3 is also again, it is terms and definitions. Terms and definitions. And which are detailed terms. Detailed terms and definitions applicable to particular specific standard in addition to formal related terms and conditions. Detailed terms and definitions applicable to particular specific standard and addition to formal related terms and conditions. To get it is clear, means you have to define terms here in details and to certain standard which you are following. You can also have some other standards if you have defined, means you have to define something other than those, a specific one, and what terms you have to follow, what conditions are to be followed, that all should come into that. It should be, you can say, clearly explanatory or speaking what you are going to do, It should communicate, rather, you can say, properly, rightly, precisely, adequately. Then, as we said that clause 1 that is linked to clause 4, and that is here clause 4. Clause 4, context of organization. What is, after all, you are going to organize? What is context of that? What is, you can say, explanation of that one? And there are certain directions and, of course, considerations as well. And these are understanding organization and its context. We have to understand what we are, right? If we don't understand what we are, who can understand? It's our organization. We have to understand what we are organizing, for what we are organizing, what's our requirement, what's our content, and we have to focus on that. If we know our context, if we know what is our focus, what is our destiny, we have to select one. We have to understand our needs. What do we need for that? And what do we need, what do we expect from parties? Those are members in that organization or stakeholders and all. Then how shall we organize this system which is being framed? And that is said determining scope of management system. And then is management system. So there are 4 points. Organizational understanding, what do we actually require and we expect from others, parties. Then we have to determine our system, how to establish it, how to chart it out, or how to organize it. And then management system. Now there shall be many points of consideration. Of organization, points of considerations. These are also very important one. Points for consideration. And consideration means very significant portion of text. What we consider, it includes all points. First point remains that why actually we are here. Why are we here? That answer no one else can give you, only organizer can give you, or you may say whoever is in charge of that organization, why organizing is why, reason, what is your future, what I want to say. And then you to identify internal and external issues. External issues that impact intended outcome. Means we have decided outcome, as you said before. In scope, outcome is decided. Then why it is that required, we have known. And then we have to identify, we have to collect internal and external issues that impact intended outcome. Outcome may be different. Sometimes what you think, not that. But we have to find, we have to list, we have to identify internal external issue that impact intended outcome. Interested parties and their requirements. Interested parties, or you may say stakeholders. Stakeholders are those who are involved in that business, or you can say that development unit. What are those interested parties? What do they expect? What is requirement by those parties? That we have to find answer. We have to list out. Then we have to define scope and set boundaries of management system. Previously, we said scope, we had to define scope of organization, and here we say in context of organization, we have to define scope of how to organize, the scope of that real organization, or you can say physical organization, and set boundaries or limits, or you can say battery limits of that system. There may be various divisions in that system. We have to confine them to each other, and of course overlapping would be there, but boundaries would be set. This is your boundary, this is boundary of other one, various divisions, various sections, and their communication, coordination. And then of course major part of every organization is human resources, which are actually responsible for running organization. It may be rightly running or not rightly running, but those are responsible. What do they know about your organization? They are clearly told. You have to tell them, and that can be done with raised employees' awareness and involvement. So these are only few points. There can be many more. But even if these points are well understood, means employees knows everything. They are aware about what's your intention, why you are doing business, you know that, what is the reason you are doing this business. Sometimes you have to do social cause, sometimes it's profit, sometimes it's promotion. There can be whatever reason, national service, social service, or commercial service, internal, external issues, then what parties think, what's the requirements, and scope of organizing, how do we do that? That's another point. And then we have fixed set boundaries of all those sections or divisions or dependent disciplines. And then all employees should know where we are involved with. These points are very important. You cannot just come out of this responsibility by simply saying, I think you should not confuse with political leadership. It is business. It is work. I should not say business because it sends different signals. It should be service to people. You can say service to people, people of whole world. And this chapter 5, which is leadership. And leadership has no set definition. Leadership is leadership. Leadership has got many meanings. It's sometimes difficult to define what is leadership. In fact, everybody is a leader. Everybody is a leader at various levels, at various definition. In fact, here I mean leadership is different. Here quality of leadership is, you can say profile of leadership should be, or you can say leader should be leader of work, leader of personal, leader of equipment, leader of investing finances, leader of moving further and developing society, of course promoting organization. If you start some organization, promote it. And leadership means proaction. I am looking for leadership where proactions are requirements, where proactions constitute some organization. Everybody is a leader, but everybody is not proactive. That is also true. If your mind is sharp, you are dedicated, if one is committed, if one can think, if one can think a lot and one be dynamic, and one be committed, and one has focus on future and capability also. It's not simply mind. Capability by education, by experience, and then understanding what we should do. This is very brief. You can say, what is leadership? Your leadership should lead to results which are acceptable, which are saleable, which are developable, which are improvable. Leadership should be everywhere. Leaders should develop leader also. That is another requirement. If you don't develop leader, you think that I can keep only myself on top and nobody else should come, then I can say you don't have any quality of leadership. If some leaders thinking, I am only reliable, I am only indispensable, nobody can take my position, that I think that that's worse leadership. That is great leadership. No one can be indispensable, no one can be permanent, and no one can be expert on all. Always give chance to others. Don't worry about yourself, because only capable person, only reliable person can allow others to do something, to lead in life. Otherwise, there you cannot say you are leader. You have to lead yourself. You have to lead organization, and you have to lead others to make them lead themselves. You have to lead others, to teach them how to lead, to reach to your position. And very few people can do this. Everybody gets pride in calling leader, but I like that person who gets pride in developing leaders, in developing competent people to allow them to take your position. That is leadership. Because no position is permanent. There is no position that cannot be achieved if one is proactive, one is dedicated, one is devoted, one is committed, one is sincere. So first quality of a leadership is, do not worry about your position, worry about developing others to your leadership, and also help those who are above you, you help them to develop themselves. If you are their leader, though you are not their leader, you can support them to lead further. And you support your juniors to lead further. If you can do that, I think you are leader. And if you cannot do that, then you are a worried leader, you are a concerned leader. Oh, my position is not safe. This boy, this girl who is anxious may take my position, may occupy my position. And that's where leadership fails. I don't call that person a leader who doesn't develop leaders, who should develop them more than its own capacity. And that is leadership. Who can take responsibility even that person has no fault. That person should protect its juniors, its colleagues, even colleagues I am saying, who are same rank. That is called leader. Just like we say defensive driving. We say defensive driving. I have to defend others first, then myself. I am not going to attack them. I am not going to drive rashly. I will drive safely so that I am safe, others are safe, then we can talk later. But because I have to make safe everyone, and that is called leadership. I have to take responsibility of every act. That is leadership. Even if somebody has negatively approached that result. I have to do this for you, for organization, for people. I have to sacrifice. And that sacrifice is actually better than more money making. If I can lose something, I can lose as far as safety is concerned. You can say survival is concerned, reputation is concerned, leadership is concerned. Maybe sometimes leadership doesn't bring any result. it doesn't mean that it's not leader. As far as trust is built by leader, building trust is very significant in life. It may be leadership which is political, it may be leadership which is professional, or whatever sort of leadership. You should have to prove. You should have proved. You prove first that you are a competent person. And when I say competent person, this clearly means capacity of leadership, capacity of technical work, capacity of commercial work, capacity of all works, development of common sense, development of profile, development of this. It doesn't mean you publish it. No. Work is best publishing. Work is best publishing. If you cannot do that, no need that you should be there. So leadership is different. It is commitment for everything. It's commitment for yourself, it's commitment for your colleagues, it's commitment for juniors, it's commitment for your organization, it's commitment to public. That commitment means you are going to do that, whatever you are saying. And if you don't do that, you do something else, then you can't be called leader. Because you have convinced them you are going to do this. Or if you want to amend that, and let them know about this, that you are doing some changes in that. And that's also leadership. So leadership has got no single approach. It's a general approach. Leadership and commitment. Leadership and commitment. And policy, what is your policy? Every leader has different policy, but policy should go towards achieving quality and target. Target means development further, promotion further. It doesn't mean quantity. I am saying enrichment of your organization that can be more trusted, that can be qualitative organization that believes in and that does every activity so that customer or end user is happy with your leadership, happy with your product. So that policy should be developed. Who shall develop? Only you can develop, with of course assistance from your staff, from your colleagues. An organizational role, once you define your leadership, your commitment, your focus, your policy, then to achieve that, to conduct that, what is organizational roles, responsibilities and authorities you should use. Define your role yourself. Of course, somebody who is responsible for that financially would be there in picture. But organizational roles, responsibilities and authorities, these are very important factors which you should understand. Organization role cannot be defined in 1 second. It depends from requirement to requirement, cases to cases. So organization role is to be defined by yourself and approved by organization, and your responsibilities, your authorities, your decisions, and whatever you do on behalf of that company, it should not come as a conflict but as beautiful plan. And in that there are so many points of consideration for that. Those points are very important points for considerations, and these are defined herein. I think I should go back for 5 minutes. If you permit me, I'll go for 5 minutes and come back. It's very important to go for 5 minutes and come back. I'll do that and just come back. So we can say, as I was talking of leadership here, I tried to talk about leadership, and that is very important here that we have to think of, because leadership is not that easy as we think it is. It is, you can say, merging. It's defined. You can define leadership that you have to merge into some assignment. Assignment means not a piece of paper, but your responsibility, your project, your organization which you lead or project which you lead. Leadership is required everywhere. It is project that makes an organization, and it's organization that gets project. If you cannot do project, you cannot lead an organization. And if you are leading an organization and if you don't get project, then there is no organization. Projects make you leader and you have to lead project. Both are there. If you are unable to lead project, you cannot do anything. And it's not simple that engineering degree or management degree that can make you leader. It cannot make you leader. No management degree, no engineering degree can make you leader. It is your quality, I can say, individual quality that provides you with all requirements that leads to leadership. And that is, you can say, as I said, leadership with commitment, leadership with dedication, leadership with determination, leadership with charting solution, and leadership to measure itself in certain terms, in certain units. Nobody else can measure you as much as one can measure one. One knows how it can lead. One knows how to use energy, how to use time, how to use environment. One knows how to use people, how to use employees, how to use owners, how to use contract, how to use project, how to use everyone that comes for that project. As much as you can use them, that is responsibility. Use doesn't mean abuse. Use means reliable use, applicable use. For that, those people come. How to use those machines, those equipment that are procured, that are hired. And it is not only in construction, it is everywhere applicable. It's applicable in whole engineering world, in manufacturing, in industry, in construction. It's useful in all commercial work, all office work. Wherever there is lead role required, this applies. Lead means first you do it yourself and understand, only then you can lead. You should know difficulties while doing those acts. And those difficulties, if you know, then you can realize that others too have more difficulties than you experience, because others are not that level experienced as you are, or maybe others are not intellectually so strong as you are, or others may not be that capable as you are. So those may feel more tension, more stress, more strain because of those issues which you have already resolved. In that case, it is you to help them by interaction or by supervision or by direction or by whatever medium you use. They should know how to resolve it, or you can help them to resolve, so that before doing any error, causing any error, these your supports can access to you without any hesitation, and they can find solution. Because if they find solution, it is your solution, not their personal solution. It's your leadership solution, and it will be called led by you. And you have to be actually unit leader. You have to be leader for yourself, and yourself means your subordinates, your colleagues are included in yourself. You know, it's not easy job to lead others, but it is also very difficult to lead one. If I can lead myself, I think that's the best organization I can do. Because when I can lead myself, I know what are my merits, what are my demerits, how do I use time, how do I use energy, what's my way of thinking, what's my way of writing, what's my way of reading, and what's my way of communication. And I have every duty to teach all these which I know to my colleagues if they require, or I have to learn from them if they can give me something. Also, I can, as official duty, I can and have to teach my subordinates for providing them an opportunity to move upward, to move vertically in their career. That's very important point. You cannot leave them aside. You cannot say, I use and throw you. If your attitude is only use and throw, then I can say, I have no comments on that. Because you have no right to use and throw someone. You have no right to use and throw someone. You have to use yourself also, then can you throw yourself? Question is, can you throw yourself? Nobody will say, I can throw myself. Yes, you can throw the more knowledge, that's different. But you cannot throw yourself to abuse or to scrap or to a non-salvage material. If you can't do this for you, you cannot do it for others. Best leader is that who always leads others and also uses those who are better than one to get help from them directly or indirectly through communication or otherwise, and that you can say construction of a circle or social environment or professional environment among others. Well, you try to understand what I mean. Self-leader requirement is first. Being a self-leader is very important before leading others. Experience yourself. Even you experience as office boy, you can make a cup of tea for yourself and see what problems are there for making tea. You can do something which a clerk does or typist does, or you can use floor for washing. You can broom a floor. You can see how it works, how others feel when I feel. Means you can floor. It doesn't mean you are a cleaner. This means you just want to know experience. You want to know how you feel. When we study in engineering, we collect, you can say, brick or sand or something in workshop by hands, and we work, we mix, we make mortar, we can small wall, so that we should feel, we can do physically what pain we feel, what stress we feel, so that we should understand those workers who would work, how they would feel. That point is important here. Experience by reality, not experience by statement. I'm not interested in just a statement, but a statement based on reality, based on your experience. That is more important. Just by lecturing, no, I'm not interested in baseless lectures, but reality of life. So here are certain points of consideration. One by one, I just say it says emphasis on leadership. Emphasis means you can take kind of stress, a kind of pressure, a kind of forced requirement. What should be emphasis? It's not easy to take responsibility of leadership. You have to put yourself in trouble. You have to put yourself in force. Not just top management. But leadership is responsible and accountable. That emphasis you have to create. You have to describe your job yourself. I am liable to this. I am doing this and it's my responsibility. These are my activities that I am doing. I would do. That is very difficult. But ultimately it is your job, it's your project, it's your organization. So it's not just I have to sit at top chair and enjoy. No. I can sit at bottommost chair also and take responsibility. If somebody dies due to my faults, my safety, ignorance, I am responsible for that. I'll be imprisoned. If I'm not doing my job, I'll be shunted out. I'm not saying you will shunt yourself, but I mean to say an environment must be created where people think that you are responsible. You're accountant. You are accountant of responsibility. I mean to say you're accountable. Your accounts of your own. You're officer of your own. You're responsible for your own. And own responsibility means very quick decision. So emphasis on leadership, not just top level, but leadership is responsible and accountable. Top level has greater accountability. Top profile or top organization management has got greater accountability and involvement in organizational management work, management system. Involvement. When you say involvement, it's very big issue for leaders. It doesn't mean physical environment. It can be physical environment also, but it is responsible. Organizational involvement in that system. Just ordering one thing without considering all facts, without considering all problems, is no more leadership. As we say, risk must be considered, or you can say hazards must be considered, or you can say commerce must be considered. Whatever is required to be considered, technology to be considered, you must have capacity of those considerations. And that's what I say. Sitting at top doesn't mean sit in chair. Some people think I sit in big chair, I'm boss. I should close access to others. Again I say, sitting in chair is not definition of this. Responsibility is definition. Accountability is definition. Involvement in organizational processes is it important. Means you should know what's happening in your organization by whatever way you can know. It is your responsibility, your duty, because errors are expected from everywhere in organization, from top level, through middle level and through lower level. Chances of mistakes are, you can say, chances of mistakes are many, not one. Every division, every section can create problems because those are of that responsibility. They do not know how to solve. If they could know, they would have solved themselves. And that is responsible leadership at middle level. Those are educated professionally, generally, and many of them are experienced one. But those who are not experienced, then we have to take their care. We have to consider their care, and we have to think for them how they work, how they don't work. That is where requirement lies in. It's not simple, it's not easy, it is responsibility. One cannot understand everything at young age. Enthusiasm is one part, but responsibility is another part. We have to understand that point clearly. Otherwise, it doesn't work at all. We have to think that way. Just a minute, please. Okay. Sorry. So I was saying about leadership. It's very important fact. One should be leader means we should be capable of that, and we have to teach others. And so you can see, I was talking about top management has greater accountability and involvement in organization management system, and therefore top management is more responsible than other management. It's because top management has more knowledge. Top management has got more information than all others. It is top level directors, or you can say engineers, or whatever you call them, managers, organizers, who know much better than everybody else. And they are also more responsible if they are capable. And if they are not capable, they are placed just by faces, not by experience, not by, you can say, qualifications. It's different. Means if you want to run an organization in a professional way, you should deploy professionals there. Experienced professional, not simply qualified. Experience in that organizational competency. If it is engineering organization, if it's construction organization, if it's some sort of organization, that field professionals must be there. You cannot hand over organization to everybody. And management learning comes from experience and not from some other training. Practical training is real training. And those who impart training of management, what level of practical training they have, you can question. So what I mean to say is, it is work experience in technology, it's work experience in whatever activities, procedures, construction, manufacturing, industrialization, or whatever. Those people know ins and outs of work, ins and outs of product. And here question is product. Question is, what is our focus? Our focus is on manufacturing machines. Our focus is manufacturing some major industrial item. Our focus is construction product. Our focus is contractorship. Our focus is design. Our focus is, you can say, just dealership. It's all that decides. Practically speaking, no organization can run just by one professional. A combination of various professionals is required. Let us take example of industry. Industry is a big name. Means industry is not a small unit. It's complete process. It's complete process. You can say, for example, you are going to install a refinery. You are going to install some byproduct use of refinery. Then refinery is an industry. It's not shop. It's an industry that runs in length and breadth for kilometers, and it's generally located onshore. It's located at sea. You cannot say that you can locate in city some industry of oil. Means you need a person. You require some professionals. A team of professionals who know that process, that technology. And if you don't have them, if you don't have that composition of teams, you can never do that, because it is industry. It is responsible for something concrete, for something that we have to understand. That's why I say it's not simple. Just for example, I tried to give you about concrete. As I said in this file, I'm talking about. Now this is for concrete. It says aggregates, cement is just materials, water, admixture, hot weather concrete, you can say miscellaneous, then precast concrete, then pre-stress concrete, water retaining structures. You can say just for one item, just for one item, there are so many inclusions. And these inclusions are so many that you have to take their care. You have to take their care, and who shall take their care? Just for one item. And that care shall be taken by those who are members of team, and they must take care on behalf of owner. In fact, it's not on behalf of owner itself, because such projects never come in private sector. They never come. They are for public. Public money is utilized, and even if from offshore, you utilize crude oil to reach onshore, that too is natural product and public responsibility. So what I mean to say, if these 19 or more points are just responsible for one item, there are many items on projects, many items on such whatever sort of projects. Then what we should think of, that point is important, what we should think of. And when we think that what sections are there, that is general, that is quality requirement and quality controls, foundations and retaining structures. Foundations and retaining structures. Then there is road work and drainage work, mechanical and electrical equipment. I'm just giving you a reference. I'll talk about this at length, but today I thought I should concentrate on you can say this part in which we said that leadership should be leader. Job of leadership starts with leading self, and then leading not only self, leading work, charting out how to do that work, or you can say scheduling in details. Of course, help can be taken from whosoever. Schedules are schedules, and that requires accuracy. And it's not construction schedule, it is whatever schedule you have to plan with. How to organize your organization, your company, your establishment, what should be your organizational status, can you have organization chart defined, can you give layout of organization chart, it is to be done. It should not be project basis, it should be organizational basis first, and then we can say it can be project basis. Project basis considers only project, but policy basis, or you can say organizational basis overall, that is different. We know on companies that has to work for many decades. It's not 1 year or 2 years for which a company is established or company is created. That cannot be possible. A company which is called organization has to work for decades, and that where policy statement is required. That's what a question was in scope. What we are, why we are here. Are we here just to do one project, or we are here for long term requirement? To get ourselves into market or into becomes a part of progress. I said losses becomes losses become a part of projects. Just like we sometimes say that failure is root of success. Failure is root of success. Is it true, you think? Maybe we use wrong term. It's not failure. It's not failure. When you do something, when I do something, you do something, and if you do something, it can't be called failure. Maybe you miss that. Or maybe we take wrong step for knowing what is right. A wrong step is taken, of course it's not intentional, but it is, you can say, a trial. A trial. Trial, we use the term trial and error. If you try something, it can cause errors, and that's why we say it is a trial. Because we are not clear about that. We have no consistency factor involved here. We do not know that consistency factor. We only know that we are going to do this way, let us see what happens. It can be called trial. And for example, various methods that we adopt, there is no fixed approach, there is no fixed method. Same way, sometimes to learn more and more, there we fix some time for trial, and we learn from the results of trial. From those results of trial, we learn something, and then we say, okay, let us try another more different approach applied, and we can learn more from that. So we can say that it is responsibility of that level of top in organization that run the company or who have taken responsibility. And this is also a part of responsibility that we have to understand. And then we can say integrity requirements. We have to system, you can say quality system or management system into organizations core business process. core business process which can face ups and downs depending on progress, depending on so many factors, depending on financial status, depending on technical status, depending on what sorts of people we have, what sorts of professionals we have. So integration is required for everyone, and that in that integration there will be plus and minus both. There will be merits and demerits both. There will be top people, there will be middle people, and there will be lower people and others who make that system. Somebody performs to some level, somebody does not. It happens. Everybody is not same. So that is integration of a composite culture. A composite mind. There would certainly be variations in efficiencies, and those can be observed while they perform. And that performance is real one. Common sense plays a role, technical knowledge plays a role, professional knowledge plays a role, and we can say, we can reveal out of those who are best suited, who are better suited, or who are suitable. So we can say we have to check this point as well and ensure that system, organization system allocates necessary resources, because without resources we cannot do anything, we cannot achieve anything. That point we have to clearly understand that resources is fundamental. All resources, I say, human resource, it's difficult to find competent one. In that case, if we cannot find competent one, we have to train. Basic, without which human cannot work. Generally, machines are used everywhere. Some sort of small or big machines or equipment we use everywhere. Those must perform. So we can say resources, and then of course techniques, and certainly you can say material. Materials are procurable, available. It depends on our capacity, our budget, how we can get these done for some project and use them. Like this, you can say resources allocation is important. It's up to our integrated management system that uses those resources. That system should work in, you can say, unison, work as team without any personal or private egos that generally develop in organizations because of individuality, because of consideration of individuality and, you can say, relationship. That factor comes in way of organization. Then we ensure management system achieves business intended outcome. because statement is ensure, make sure that your system you have installed, it can achieve business intended outcome. Business intended outcome. So point, very important one, very significant one. Can we? Experience can, for sure, not education alone, no management degree alone. Only basis is experience, or you can say professional reality. We can create system only that we understand what way, which projects we are going to do. This system suits for that or it doesn't suit. And you cannot say it is true copy of other one. Here, true copy doesn't work true. To be very frank, true copy doesn't work true. This is a vision. This is vision, leader's vision. What vision sees, that is important. And it's not simply system that you have placed people in, or you would place people in, personal or employee, let's say key personnel you place in. What type of people they should be, you have to analyze that requirement. Analyze that requirement. What sort of people should be? They should be just recruited only based on academics or experience or specialty, or they should be conducted, they should be allowed to appear in examination. For key personnel on key positions, you cannot blindly place people just based on CVs, because CVs can be fabricated these days. Just CV is no answer. I have seen people, they see what is advertisement, for what position, what is job description, and they, you can say, design CV. They are experts people in this business, in this activity to design. Then examination sort of activity, whether it is written or it is ability. You have to do something. Then CVs won't work, because if that person has filed a fabricated CV, that person won't be able to pass that examination. And when people know that this organization conducts examination sort of activities, fabricated CVs would stop coming in. It's a very important point, because first requirement should be human resources. If key personnel are well organized, they come through such system that they have to work here. Certainly they would recruit people of working class workers who would be competent, because if these key personnel have to be successful, they require successful working people, working personnel who are line workers, who may be someone else. No salesmanship would work, but workmanship would work. Work activity shall work. It's not that I am a good salesman, I can issue false statements and sell my commodity, and then if somebody comes for complaint, I say, okay, it's not my responsibility, it's the responsibility of manufacturing section. So why did you sell something which is not your responsibility? That point can be raised. Then it is top level responsible. Top level responsible to communicate importance of system and ensure employees awareness and involvement. Top level responsible to communicate importance of system and ensure employees awareness and involvement. As we say in title always, that communication and coordination, these are two structured items, should be. Though it's not, but working structure cannot be created in absence of these items. Today, problem is lack of communication and missing coordination, particularly in industrial activities. Electronic medium has speeded up communication, but coordination missing. And coordination can be created only by live communication. Communication is one part. That is a track. And coordination, or it can be team coordination, it can be organizational coordination, or it can be, you can say, complex coordination. Absence of coordination, absence of communication leads to havoc of management. Sometimes work is held up. I have due to failure of communication, required communication, and failure of required coordination, particularly in those heavy projects. Time is of top defense. I have seen that coordinates employed, they don't work to deliver. It's no degree, it's no education, it is exclusively experience based, it is exclusively concentration based, it is exclusively thinking based. To work that time also. I'm also one of those who worked in from 1975 onwards, and particularly from 1980 onwards, when there was no computers, and in fact very rare DOS based computers were available, only one in one company. I still remember coordination was very difficult at that time. We used to collect information on papers from various hard copies, searching them out, piling them up, and then studying them. After that, once